to The View. Well, summer 11 is in the air, and a post on lifehacker.com asked, would you let your teenager have sex in your house? How old are they talking about? 13 to 18?
I think any
Probably young teen, I'm guessing. 18 is an adult, so.
Would you rather they do it in the house or instead of sneaking around? I mean...
No.
Well, you don't want them to do it at all.
Period, right?
Look, I just think, you know, I talk about it a lot, about this sort of de-evolution of our morality in the country, and I just think we've gone to a place where, you know, what happened to just good old-fashioned family values? I mean,
good old-fashioned foreplay for 10 hours. Those were the great days.
I think when you allow your teen to have sex in your home, you're telling your teen it is okay. And in my home, according to my faith, it's not okay.
But that is the same argument that they give about condoms. If you hand out condoms, you're telling them that it's okay to have sex.
I mean,
she's made that same argument.
But here's the reality.
Are you going to give your teen a condom and then let him have sex in your bedroom?
You have to be in reality. Reality says, science, this is the sociological information we have. They're doing it. Do you want them to do it and get pregnant? Do you want them to do it and get STDs or not?
But they're doing meth also. Are we going to give, excuse me, are we going to give them meth pipes and heroin?
Thank you.
I mean, where do you draw the line? There has to be
Probably
boundaries
right
here.
before
Why do you associate drugs? Why do you associate drugs with sex?
It's about behavior. It's about making choices and being responsible for those choices. And when you're 14, 15, 16, you know, you need to think about the consequences of having sex. It's not all about just being pleasured.
That's why
and all
I say do it in the house.
You don't want to promote the guy.
You know where they
You
are.
can get the herp. You can get the herp.
You can get it outside.
Get it outside, too.
You get it in the car.
Excuse me. So,
oh, now I told you where I did it. Oh, sorry.
I think there is a line there. I do think informing and recognizing that the numbers support that teenagers are doing that. And I also don't want my teenagers, it's a while from now, but to be uncomfortable with their body. Because I was raised in a very strict household. And even though I do agree that not having sex in the house is something I can get on board with, I don't want them to also be ashamed of sexuality in their body.
In your body and not share it with somebody else.
But wait, the next part of my statement is, if indeed they're being responsible and 16 or 17 and they've decided that, I don't think it's okay in my house, because I'm gonna make sure they know that maybe it's not something I'm comfortable with, but I will also inform them about condoms and information in their bodies, because I think education is power, and I think they need to know
what's wrong if they're doing it in your home?
Because I don't feel comfortable with them doing it under my roof.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean I'm driving them to,
let me say this.
What if they're married? Does it bother you then?
No.
What if they're 45 years old and they're not married? Does it bother you then?
It's act of sex.
Let me just say this.
What is it about?
No, it's not about the act of sex. If they're married and you're in a committed relationship, and you know, if you get pregnant and you have your husband there, and then you can, you know, raise your kid if you need to, or do make the decisions, and it shows a certain amount of maturity in adulthood. But when you're in your teenage years, you need to be taught that there are boundaries. What happens? There's consequences to those decisions. You're still getting to know your body.
Okay,
you're not defined by those things. All kinds of other
Let me just say though, having taught kids for years, that may not be realistic, because when I taught 6th and 7th graders, 6th and 7th graders were having sex, and the biggest problem they had, and this is honest truth.
And that is
yeah, but hold on though. No, but I'm going to tell you, no. The biggest problem that they would tell me, I was a student advisor and a guidance counselor, is that my parents shut down this conversation for me, and I feel like I have to run and do these actions away from them and keep it secret. You have to have an
talk to
open
your children
dialogue
about sex, and you can also
children.
tell them you can't have sex in my house. You shouldn't be having sex before marriage, and I'm not giving you a condom.
If you scare them away from the conversation, they're gonna go do it.
All right,
and you're
I
not
gotta go. The best thing to say is, Mommy and Daddy don't do it in the house. Why should you? We'll be right back.